There are nights when the world looks different through the cold, unblinking eye of a CCTV camera. Nights when empty hallways become gateways, when shadows move without owners, and when something watches back. These are the stories people wish they never saw. Stories that haunt security guards. Stories that investigators cannot explain. Stories that make you question what truly walks beside us after midnight. Tonight, I will tell you 3 CCTV incidents, each one real enough to unsettle your sleep. Our first case takes us to the Ravenwood Apartments, a quiet place where nothing ever seems to happen, at least during the day. But on the night of June 14th, the hallway CCTV caught something different. It was exactly 3:07 a.m. 4 hours, the camera had recorded nothing but an empty, silent corridor. Then it flickered, a burst of static, a glitch. When the image returned, a shape had appeared at the far end of the hallway. It wasn't a person. It was too tall, too thin. Its arms seemed slightly longer than normal, hanging unnaturally at its sides. It was standing completely still, like a statue carved from shadow. The timestamp on the screen kept ticking forward 3:07 and 12 seconds, 13 seconds, 14. But the figure didn't move. It didn't seem to walk. It didn't even seem to breathe. It just stood there as if it had been waiting for something or someone. The security guard, a man named Daniel, was watching the monitors in his small office. In the grainy, low-light footage, the figure tilted its head unnaturally slow, deliberate movement as if it had just noticed the camera watching it. A chill ran down Daniel's spine, and then it vanished. It didn't walk away. It didn't fade into the shadows. One frame it was there, and the next it was simply gone. The hallway was empty again. Daniel grabbed his flashlight and his radio, his hands shaking. He had to check it out. He ran down the stairs and into the hallway. The air was freezing. Not just cold, but unnaturally cold, like someone had left a freezer door wide open. He shined his flashlight down the empty corridor. There was nothing, no one, just silence. But as he swept his light across the walls, he saw it. Scrawled in what looked like long, dirty finger marks were 4 words, DONT. Look for me. Daniel never worked the night shift alone again. The second case comes from a supermarket in Ohio. Like most businesses, the store's parking lot cameras were set to record all night long, capturing the empty lanes, the silent parked cars of overnight employees, and the peaceful darkness. But one night, the parking lot got an unexpected visitor. At 2:58 a.m., a lone car pulled into the mostly empty lot. The driver, who remains unidentified to this day, parked the car in a remote spot, turned off the engine, and just sat there, completely still. For 11 long minutes, nothing happened. The camera recorded the silent vehicle under the orange glow of a single street lamp. Then the passenger door slowly creaked open, but no one stepped out. Instead, something stepped in. A shadow. It was a tall, black silhouette with completely blank features. No eyes, no mouth, no discernible shape of clothing. It was just a dark, human outline, moving with an eerie purpose. The moment the shadow entered the car, the vehicle began to shake slightly, as if someone inside was struggling violently. The security guard watching the monitor thought maybe a fight had broken out. He picked up his phone to call the police, but then something even stranger happened. The car's headlights flashed on even, though the keys were still in the ignition, and the driver hadn't moved. And then the car shot backward at an impossible speed, tires squealing, and raced out of the camera's view, disappearing into the night. When the police arrived a few minutes later, they found the car abandoned 2 blocks away. Its engine was dead. Both the driver and passenger doors were wide open, and there was no one inside. There were no signs of a struggle, no fingerprints, nothing. But when the investigators reviewed the CCTV footage, they noticed one final, terrifying detail. As the shadow stepped into the car, they rewound the tape and zoomed in on the ground next to the vehicle. The staff initially dismissed it as faulty wiring or typical old building noise. That is, until they reviewed the footage from the new cameras. At 11:49 p.m., a woman wearing a white lab coat stepped into the main elevator. She was a guest, a doctor attending a conference. The footage shows her looking tired, pressing the button for the 5th floor. The doors slid shut, and the elevator began its ascent. Halfway between the 3rd and 4th floors, the elevator abruptly stopped. The lights inside flickered and dimmed, casting long, dancing shadows. Static crawled across the camera's feed, distorting the image, and in the reflection of the elevator's shiny, polished metal wall, something moved. Behind her reflection, a second face appeared. It was pale and hollow, pressed right up against her own in the mirrored surface. Its mouth was open in a silent scream. Its eyes were dark, empty pits. But when the camera's view switched to the main shot, and a faint, terrifying sound picked up by the elevator's microphone. A wet, heavy breathing, close and labored. When the lights finally flickered back on, the woman was gone. Not collapsed on the floor, not hiding in a corner, not in the elevator at all. She had just vanished. The elevator doors slid open a moment later, revealing the empty 5th floor hallway. But the most chilling part of the entire recording. When the lights came back on, the police looked closely at the polished metal wall of the elevator. The woman was gone, but the reflection of that terrifying, smiling face was still there, staring right back at the camera. If you ever feel watched while walking alone at night, if you ever sense a presence behind you in an empty room, if you ever notice a shadow that doesn't quite match your own, maybe it's not just your imagination. Maybe it's not a trick of the mind. Maybe the cameras see more than we do. Maybe they see what truly walks in the spaces between us. These were the CCTV stories you can't sleep after. And trust me, there are many more out there, waiting in the dark, waiting to be seen. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check your locks.